welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, then hi, my name is Lauren. And on my channel, we mostly talk about anything luxury, but we also discuss lifestyle and beauty. So if you're interested in any of these topics, please consider subscribing to my channel, and we'll get started with the video. So in today's video, I'm presenting you another episode of my Real vs Fake series, this time featuring the Louis Vuitton Nice Vanity. So if you are interested in learning how to spot the differences, then please keep on watching. So the first thing that we're going to talk about as usual is the packaging, but here we're just going to skip the part of the box because I actually got mine, so the real one, at the airport in Paris, and I just couldn't take the box with me, so I don't have the box for mine, so that's why we're going to skip to the dust bag. That one I obviously took, so this is the dust bag for the real one. And then we have the dust bag for the fake one, which is here. I think that the massive difference that you can tell is obviously the size, but this is very honestly due to the fact that these are different sizes. So mine, the one that I have, is the Nice Vanity, and then the fake one from the fake factory is the Nice BB, so it's one size down. And this is obviously why the dust bag is of a different size. Other than that, I would say that it fairly closely resembles the real one. I think that there is a slight difference in the tone of the dust bag. I think maybe the fake one is a little bit of a lighter color than the real one. And I would also go ahead and say that the fabric is slightly different. But other than that, I think that this is a dust bag that has some quality to it. Alright, so now let's talk about the vanities themselves, and here I'm sure that the first thing that you're able to see is the big difference in sizing, and that's because they're different sizes. So the one that has been gifted to me by the fake factory, which is in this hand, is the Nice Vanity BB, and then in this other hand over here we have mine, which is the Nice Vanity, which I've gotten a couple of months ago at the airport in Paris. My mom was coming by to see me, so I kind of ordered it from her. That way I was able to save a bunch of money on D-tax and then, well, your prices as well. So I'm really happy that I got it, and I think that these are pretty similar. There aren't like massive differences, so in my mind it's okay to compare different sizes. I would say the first thing is the monogram. For me, that's kind of the biggest thing. That's the thing that is the most visible when you look at these pieces. And I have to say that it is impeccable on the fake one. There's nothing that I can say or like, you know, talk bad about. Honestly, it's like very, very similar, which is really a nice surprise. I think that in some fakes you can tell a mile away, and this is definitely not the case. So the monogram on the fake one, which again is here, is exactly the same as on the real one, which is here. So now moving on to the next most apparent thing in my mind, and I'm obviously talking about the Vachetta. And here I think it's interesting to compare both because the level of patina is about the same. Even though I got mine a couple of months ago, to be very honest with you, I haven't used it quite yet because I haven't taken many trips, or actually I haven't taken any trips. I have moved houses, and that's the only trip that this one has taken. And so I'm kind of, yeah, like saving money to, you know, do house renovation projects and things like that. So I haven't really taken any trips or planning one. So this has been pretty much dormant in my closet. I know it's really, really bad. So that's why the level of patinas are about the same and the Vachetta is the same. This is something that will be like so apparent on the close-ups. I think it's hard to tell like this when I'm holding both like that, but you will see on the close-ups. Also, something to mention about the handle is the stitching. And that is actually something where the fake one, which again is in this hand, has it a little bit off. So the stitching on the fake one is a lot more yellow, of like a brighter yellow, than on the real one, which is here. I'm not sure why, but there is a massive difference. It almost looks like, you know, the fake one is like bright, like blonde, like golden locks, that kind of like yellow, and then this one is more of like a beige, like darker yellow, if that makes sense. So that part is definitely off in the fake one, which is here. So next up we have the hardware, and obviously the hardware is the most apparent on the zipper, and both are gold hardware. But surprisingly enough, there is a different shade of gold hardware that the fake one has. So it's really interesting because in this case, the real one, which again is in this hand, is a lot more shiny, is a lot of a brighter gold type than the fake one, which is here. I feel like usually it's the opposite. The fake one kind of overdoes it and has this super bright 24K gold, oh my god, in your face, gold type of color. I think that it's been most apparent on I believe I've done a VCA unboxing. I believe I've done a VCA Real versus Fake comparing the VCA 5 motif vintage Alhambra bracelet, and that was so apparent on that one. By the way, I will go ahead and leave it in the little information link over here if you're interested in checking out that video. But here it's actually the opposite. The one that has the shinier gold is the real one, and then the fake one features this kind of more matte finish. It kind of has a matte polish to it. The next part that we're going to compare is the strap, and this is quite nice. It's kind of relaxing for my arms because I was just honestly getting an arm workout, especially from holding the real one. I'm not sure why, but there is a big difference in weight. Obviously there is the sizing, but honestly I've had the BB one in hand and the real one in the store, and I don't remember it being this light. So I think that the fake one is honestly really, really light, which obviously has some advantages, especially when you're holding it like this for such a long time. But I'm also assuming that this is kind of an indication of quality. But anyway, let's come back to this. Let's come back to the strap. So both come with a strap, and obviously the difference in sizing is normal. That obviously reflects the difference in sizing of the actual object. But here I think the thing to pay attention is, again, the stitching. That's also a very, very good way to tell apart the fake one from the real one. The stitching is way more yellow on the fake one. This will be apparent in the close-up once again. And then we also have the hardware, again on the ends, which is also apparent. The fake one has more of a matte finish to it, a lot more, and then here on the real one it's a lot shinier. Next up, we're going to talk about the inside of the vanities, and this is honestly the biggest difference when it comes to the fake. I think that when it comes to the exterior, it's actually of really good quality. I don't think that I would be able to tell without looking super duper closely, probably at the stitching, but I mean, other than that, it's not that remarkable. However, when you open it, that's when you really see the difference in quality. So obviously the interiors are not the same because it's different sizes. So mine, which is again this one, the real one, includes the mirror and the little pouch and everything, and that's totally fine and totally normal that this one doesn't. However, I think that there is a big difference in the lining of the inside and the lining of the fabric. You can see on the real one, and you will be able to see on the close-ups again, it's perfectly lined. It's been, measured and everything to fit perfectly the inside. And here it's been kind of on and off, there's a big blob of fabric where it's well, I don't think that this was gonna fit. I think that this would have been too big, but they just kind of decided to stick with it. So that's really something that is not super duper bothersome, especially if you intend on having an organizer or something. Personally, for mine, for the real one, I definitely have an organizer because I don't want to have any spills or anything. So I'm not sure if you would need an organizer for a fake one because obviously the value is much less. So if you do decide to get an organizer, I would say that's fine. But if you don't, that's really something that's noticeable when you open it. I think that anybody would be able to tell that this level of quality is not normal for LV, so therefore it must be a fake. So yeah, I think that you will be able to see what I'm talking about. I will try to point it in the close-ups. I'm not really quite sure yet of how I'm gonna organize this, but I'm gonna try and point, but you'll see there's a corner, and it's honestly really bad. So those are really the main differences that I could find in these vanities, other than obviously the size. But I think that when it comes to like stitching and monogram and like the lining inside and all of these like gold hardware thingies, I don't really think that the size makes any difference. So I think it would have been the same if mine were a size VB, or if the one from the Fake Factory was a size Nice Vanity, it would have been all the same. So in conclusion, I would say that the fake one is pretty good. I don't think that there are any like horrible things, especially on the outside, and when you do think about it, the outside is definitely what makes sense, or definitely what's important. I think, however, the inside was a little disappointing, but it's totally fine if you do have an organizer, and I think, you know, if you want to avoid spills or just to kind of organize your things and not to have like a dump of makeup, it would definitely be a good idea to have an organizer. So that's definitely up to you. However, I will say that the factory was a little difficult to work with. It's something that I have not had before. I think that they were a little tardy in sending me this item, and you know, they expected that I would film this video right away. I was in the middle of a move. So obviously it was very difficult for me to kind of, you know, film it like super quickly. So they were very insistent on sending me 55 emails and calling me and like WhatsApping me and anything like that. So usually I recommend, you know, the products that I'm being sent. I don't see any like quality problems or anything that's bad about the Fake Factory per se. But I will say that I'm not a fan of their behavior, so just like take it or leave it. Still, if you are interested in getting this item or anything else from the Fake Factory, I will go ahead and leave all of the relevant information in the description box of the video down below. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that it was informational for you in case you were thinking of acquiring one, or in case you were looking at getting a fake one, either of those cases. I hope that you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.